5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to Truth, Beer, and Consequences. So this is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week, and then we get together at a gracious podcast host. And today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being such a gracious podcast host. Now, as we recap these podcasts, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts. We'll see.
Man, so far so good. We're doing all right.
Pretty good. I am Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally, and that voice you heard, the other voice you heard, belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I am Julia, and I am beyond excited for July 1st when I get to pre-order my Higher Gravity Beer Vent calendar. And I am also incredibly excited that my Josh just bought me a 12-pack of Urban Artifact pickles, so I have
there you go.
A lot of excitement going on in my fridge for when I get home.
That's exciting.
That's all I got.
It's very exciting. So glad to be back here at Higher Gravity. We are rapidly approaching a couple of different things. As we talked about, July 1st being pre-order for the Beer Vent box, which is quite exciting, and really just getting you excited into your favorite time of the year.
Season, yes.
Season of the year. Also, July 4th. Which falls on a Tuesday this year.
It does.
Which is why we will not be at Higher Gravity on July 4th for Tuesday. I did work.
It's almost as if there's some major event happening, like literally across the street.
It's right there.
Higher Gravity.
It's right there. The street is blocked off.
They already have traffic cones and signs saying no parking July 3rd and 4th. It's 2 weeks away.
Right.
And they already have the signs out.
I know what the date is. And as we were coming down the street, it was like, I had to look. I was like, no, we're fine. I was like, of course we're fine. It's
like 2 weeks away, but they are taking preventative measures already.
That's right.
This place is going to be
prophylactic measures.
Crazy. So in order for us to still be able to record and for people to still be able to hear what we record, we're going to be on location. We're gonna be traveling around a bit.
Yeah, somewheres. We're gonna be somewheres.
We'll figure it out.
We've talked about it, and we kind of have a leading idea and then some backup ideas.
Yes.
So we've talked about it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't come down here and enjoy the festivities here in Blue Ash.
Absolutely.
So please do. If you have not put that on your calendar, put that on your calendar. Which I don't know why we
didn't put on our calendar.
Put it on our
I guess
calendar.
because it's not necessarily a beer-centric event. Like
there's
a lot of beer and drinking involved, but the event itself is not about or focused around
what's around
a
America.
brewery of it. Yeah, which I guess is
America.
America is beer. So
America.
We may have
founded on beer.
Yes,
Pilgrims had to stop.
We may have missed
like,
the
we're
boat
out
on
of beer.
that one. Yeah, we got to stop. We got to.
So Beer Vent, July 4th, and then we also have our 100th podcast episode coming up.
How crazy is that?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is episode 99.
Wow.
Next week.
And then we can get syndicated.
Week. Yes, finally. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for that moment.
Our Seinfeld moment.
God.
Or does that mean something else?
Yeah. It all means something else.
Okay.
Just depends on how you're looking at it, yeah.
Sure. So as we get into this, the thoughts and opinions voiced on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not represent any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as our full-time jobs or Higher Gravity itself. We will let you know at the end of the podcast how to get in touch with us to do things like send us money, follow, like, subscribe, share the podcast with your friends. Let us know about events that maybe we haven't talked about or touched on. Let us know important things that you want us to talk about, and along with sending us money.
Yes.
That being said, Julia.
Marco.
This would not be a great craft beer podcast. And by the way, we are the #1 craft beer podcast that talks about Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts.
True.
Thank you to all of you who have listened for a long time, and thank you who are just starting to listen. Truly appreciate your listenership. But we wouldn't be a good one if we weren't drinking craft beer.
Or craft beverages.
Or something.
Of some sort.
Something of some sort. Yeah.
I'm enjoying, in my glass, Astra's newest pineapple whip.
The whip.
The whip. It is heavy on the whip. And I will be honest, not as heavy on the pineapple as I thought it was going to be. Still absolutely delicious. Another great flavor by the fine folks at the Astras. Because, again, I'm going to add S's to everything for whatever reason today.
Okay, and I am having Rothaus Pils.
Excellent.
How about that?
That is a solid choice.
Solid.
Solid. Marka, did you listen to any podcasts this week?
I did.
Awesome. I think you might have actually listened to more than I did, but we'll go over the list and find out. We have an episode of Blake the Brewery Explorer where they talk to a gentleman from Rhinegeist.
I got that one.
All right. We have an episode of Craft Parenting Podcast where they talk about summer beer.
Yes, I did listen to that one.
Okay. And apparently they did a live stream podcast on YouTube that I didn't get any notification on, completely missed. I don't know what happened, so we'll talk about that one next week. We have another episode, I guess they're still episodes, of the Barstool Perspective provided by Brew Sky's Happy Hour. This is for the week of 6/19. And then we're going to actually talk about something that has nothing to do with podcasts, but talk to a local podcaster and other people in the brewing industry, a lot of people that you and I know. We're going to talk about an article that WCPO wrote about, does Cincinnati have too many breweries?
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to talk about that.
All right.
Got all that.
All right. Where did you want to start?
I would like to start with Craft Parenting Pod.
All right. This is episode 106, Summer Days with Beer. This was a shorter episode. Joe and Caroline were drinking 3 of what they consider to be summer beers, and they talked about what makes a good summer beer to them, or what makes a beer that they want to drink in summer as opposed to other times of the year. This isn't going to be a super long recap just because out of the, what was it, just under 40-minute episode, the beer part was probably only about 15, 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Still a lot of fun to listen to, though.
No, the conversation's fun.
Oh, absolutely, always is. Caroline,
Yeah.
wow, I am having a good night. I'm just smashing them all together. Apparently, Caroline judges a good Pilsner by if she can see Joe through the glass.
That's correct.
That's actually a pretty good measure of a good beverage if you're looking for, like, Crispy Boy or like a good IPA. Can you see?
Nope, can't see him.
I can't see him through mine either.
Nope,
So neither
Joe.
neither of these would be good summer beverages.
Right.
Which is kind of surprising because
Or
I feel like,
Pilsners.
right, yeah.
Can't see Joe.
No. Let me look through your. No, I don't see Joe. What about mine? Can you see Joe through mine? Maybe it's just me. No.
I don't even see anything with tiny hands.
All right. Well, we have found out that neither of the things that we are drinking are good Pilsners. No Joe.
Nope.
No. Instead of no bueno anymore, I'm just going to start saying no Joe.
No Joe.
No Joe.
Yeah.
Let's see. They talked about the 3 different beers that they had and how they fit in as summer beers, which I'm not going to go over because, again, it's not a long enough portion of the podcast that you can't listen to this and appreciate it and hear from yourselves.
It's not about the length, Julia.
No, it's all on how you use it.
Yeah.
And they use their time incredibly, incredibly well.
Yep.
Let's see. Joe doesn't understand ivy. See, they started talking about gardening and landscaping as part of summer beers because one of the things about summer beer is it's a beer you want to drink after you've been doing a bunch of yard work, you've been outside in the sun and the heat, you're tired, you just want something refreshing, something that will, that's easy to drink a lot of without getting completely trashed, or at least,
I think
you can delay the.
I think Caroline's creating a bunch of projects around the house, I think we're to the point where Joe would maybe like to tone that back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just say we don't need to create this many projects around the house. Mm-hmm. Just moved in not long ago.
Right.
Just kind of live in it a little bit.
Don't need to do everything right now, such as dealing with all the ivy, which is,
He told me when we were talking to each other, forever house. You're going to be there forever. Don't need to do everything in the first 6 months.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's something critical like a hole in the roof, and then,
Right.
That's something that
it's like
you
a hole in the head,
do.
basically.
Right.
Get that fixed.
Get it fixed. But, yeah, you don't need to remove all the ivy the very first summer you're there.
And I know Caroline would say, if you don't remove it now, It's going to be even more
Yeah.
next year.
And it's going to be over the house.
And then what I would tell her, if I was Joe, Michael Jackson of German dancing,
So good.
I would say, okay, you've got what you got. Mm-hmm. Let's move it on. Move along.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. They also talked a little bit about, other summer events or other, summery things that they've been doing already, such as taking the kids to the pool, that type of thing.
I do that.
You go to the
Drop
pool?
the kids off at the pool. Yeah.
Don't we all? Who doesn't? I mean,
it's that time of year.
Who doesn't do
Right.
that, especially in the summer? I mean, it's something that really should be going on year round, but especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is kind of the last note that I had on this episode, and it really isn't about what they mentioned. It was just something that was triggered in my brain listening to it, because Caroline was talking about how she took her kids to the pool, and I
Dropped them off
was
at
it
the pool.
her was it her mom or Joe's mom? Someone's mom
Also drop kids off at the pool.
bought a kickboard for them so
That's
that
right.
they could use it.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, have you really lived if you never got the uppercut from hell from one of those kickboards when you push it under the water and that thing just flies up and catches you under the chin and you hope to God no one saw it happen?
It's like stepping on a rake.
It is. That's the thing. And I mean, who knew how much terminal velocity, to go back to last week's episode, those things get when they are pushed underwater. Mm-hmm. I've had many a bloody nose from accidentally letting go too soon or thinking I had a good grip on a kickboard and did not. Did not. Yeah. Good times. Good times. So hopefully Caroline's kids are older when it's going to happen. I mean, it happens to, I think, every child who has a one of the kickboards in the pool. Hopefully her children are still very tiny. They're smaller than Joe's hands. Hopefully they don't get uppercutted by a kickboard for many years.
Well, the other thing
to
is
come.
pretending it's a chair when you're in the ring as a wrestler. You just pick it and you just
that's it's not even
Pow.
the sound it makes isn't even an overly satisfying sound. It's just flat. What I thought you were going to say is
it's like a
using
flat slap.
Yeah. What I thought you were going to say is using it as a chair, like you put it under and like you sit on it under the water.
Oh, that's
Which
less
again,
fun.
if it slips out to one side,
Yeah, you're like, blue.
you could that could uppercut someone else that
Yeah.
you were not intending to
Yeah.
cut. But yeah, that was about as off topic as Joe and Caroline had this episode
Who?
of Caroline
Okay.
of the Craft Parenting Podcast. But it was a cool conversation that they had about summer beers and what they feel makes a good summer beer.
And they
I think
also-
I agree with just about all their check boxes.
And they also give you their information on how to contact them if you need them to do work around your house.
Yes. And as you know, Mark and I love to have people working in our yard. So
That's right.
Caroline's into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got a yard,
There you go.
and I don't want to do anything with
No.
it.
Got any ivy? Got anything need mulching?
No, but I do have rose bushes that I need to dig out.
Yeah.
And I need some, like augering or what? Not auger. What's the just tilling the
Sure.
tilling the soil. So if she wants to come over and do some of that,
Yeah.
I'll give her some beer.
There you go.
There we
And that's
go.
what, I mean, she works for beer.
Right? Absolutely. Who doesn't?
She put up
Well.
a gazebo for beer.
Very true.
Yeah.
True story. Listen to some of their
Go get a
earlier episodes to
gazebo.
find out. Oh yeah, then I can have. But it has to be like a 2-story tall gazebo.
Yeah, it's
She
good.
only works on the big ones.
Yeah. Only the big
Only
one.
the big ones, unless it comes to hands, and then
Yeah,
she's okay with
tiny hands.
Tiny hands. Yeah. Anything else on this episode before we continue to?
We heard that Elton John song right before we started.
We did.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, we kind of spaced this out. So, do you want to? You're getting near the bottom of your glass. Do you want to take a break and get a refill first?
Yeah.
For the last 3. All
Yeah.
right.
Good. Also, behind the podcast curtain, my son Vincent's here, so we're gonna go check.
Good check on him. Make sure he's not trying to bartend again.
Yeah.
As
Jump behind the bar.
He's just behind the bar.
What the hell are you
we
doing?
look over. We're like, that's not producer Nick behind. Oh God, it's Vincent. What are you
Yeah.
doing? All right, we'll be right back, guys. Holy shit, that was a long break.
That was a long break.
But you know what? You got to meet your neighbor, so
I did.
which means
That's so funny. Like
which means you got to move.
I do.
You can't
That's it.
you can't talk to your neighbors.
I don't
it's not allowed.
understand. I do so much to try and avoid my neighbors,
And
then
now-
they find me at place like shit. I gotta move now.
Got to move. Sorry, it's over.
That's like it's ancient.
man. All right. We both have new beverages. What do you have a new one, or do you have just a refill of the same one?
No,
what are you going with?
I got another one. I have West Side's IPA.
Excellent. That is such a good
which
one.
I had last week and probably the week before or whatever.
It's good. It's
and
solid. Nothing
speaking of
wrong
last
with
week and the week before, what do you have, Julia?
I have Masthead's Sea Cerveza, their Mexican lager with lime.
Yeah.
It is
which in
good.
In Spanish means yes, cerveza.
See?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So Cerveza doesn't mean anything?
Of course it does.
Come on.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's the highest level of comedy on this pod.
I heard Steve Martin was a prop comic. You know? All right, so let's go over. We have one other podcast, and then a video, and then a news article left to cover.
Yeah.
So do we want to finish up the podcasts and then move into the other media formats?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Blake the Brewery Explorer, Episode 6, Educational Director at Rhinegeist, Chris Shields. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Rhinegeist is Noah's favorite brewery in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many other breweries around the world he's been to, but pretty awesome that a Cincinnati brewery is his favorite. And I will say, I felt like Noah led the charge on this episode more so than Blake, but it was cool. I mean, teamwork makes the dream work. So
that's right.
Hell yeah.
I know it firsthand.
Yeah, exactly. We all have to balance what we do.
There are some podcasts where I'm like Barry in Weekend at Barry's.
You feel like you're just being kind of
propped up by Julia.
No. You always contribute an insane amount to this podcast.
Well, that's because
it would not happen without
my hand.
No. Nope, it is all you, sir. They talked about what exactly is an educational director at a brewery.
Yeah, an ED.
Wow, I completely missed that one. I'm losing my touch here. Wait. Nope. Nope.
Remind me to tell you what I saw on Facebook.
No, oh God, no. We are not going to
involving fruit.
No, no.
I quickly scroll past it.
Nope.
Anyways,
what about squirrels?
No,
not
I saw a squirrel jump and like fly.
Yeah.
And a cat was right next to it, and its eyes went way big. Like, what? The squirrel
is
flying?
Happening? Oh man. Yeah, we're not going down the same rabbit holes that we did last week. We're not. I can't.
Let's go.
I can't handle that too.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. So, an educational director at a brewery. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they go into because we want you to listen to the episode. So, if you wonder what exactly could that position entail, I'll tell you what it is not.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It is not someone who dictates what a hop profile should be. Mm-hmm. It is not someone who defines the labels to educate the consumer. They're not, part of like a design and marketing aspect of the brewery.
Also someone who doesn't hand out medical advice for ED.
Yes. So if you talk to the educational director or the ED of a brewery and they start talking little blue pills, don't listen.
Yeah.
It's
not the best place for that.
No, information. You may have a great time, you may have a really bad time. Just don't.
That's right.
Just don't.
Pick the red one.
Red pill versus blue pill? Mm-hmm. All right. That's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. I don't know which one I'd pick. I guess it depends on if it's like... Well, I was just going to say, I guess it depends on if it's the blue pill or the red and blue pill. Like, which, what world are we, comparing pills about? What are we doing? What is happening here? Oh, my God. They talked a good deal about Rhinegeist history, and we found out that it takes a lot of coffee to make beer.
It does.
Something that I was not aware of. But
that's one of the things, I mean, that's talked about, right? It takes a lot of coffee to make beer.
Yep.
And in the wine world, they say it takes a lot of beer to make wine.
It's true.
It's just...
Very true.
It's stuff. It's stuff.
They went into talking about they didn't explicitly mention it, but as you went through the podcast, you were like, they have, a flight in front of them. So they were talking about the different beers that they had and that they were trying. Not going to mention all of them, again, because we want you to listen to the episode. One of the beers that they talked about is Beer for Humans, which I am really enjoying. To me, that is a good summer beer. The brewery bike crawl that I did this weekend, that's what I got at Miamiville Trail Yard. And, one of the guys that was on the trip with us, he's trying to decide between a couple beers. I'm like, that beer for humans, that's pretty good on a hot day.
Was he also a human, though?
He was a human.
Well, it's
so
made for
it
him.
Works. Exactly. What I didn't fully understand until this episode is the charity aspect that's behind Beer for Humans.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Definitely check out if you pick up I think it's in 15 packs, and then you can get singles here and there. If you get the 15
They're kind of like
pack
Swisher
of it.
Sweets. Depending on where you go, you get it by the whole pack, and
Exactly.
then sometimes you can get it by the single.
Exactly. Check out the back of the box and scan the QR code and find out how you can help and what charitable aspects Rhinegeist is contributing to with this particular beer. They kind of moved from there into the history of the building itself, which was an old Christian Moorline building. And I bet there are so many fascinating things if you're able to get a behind the curtain of the behind the curtain tour to where you're seeing, I'm sure there's still exposed brick walls deep down underneath the part of the brewery that you're able to sit in.
Were there any
I don't know.
lagering
It's just-
tunnels under the building?
That's what I couldn't remember, and I forgot to look it up between listening and the
Also,
episode.
nobody asked
but
them if there are actual ghosts in the building.
there have to be.
There has to be.
There has to be. I mean, why would they call it Rhinegeist, ghost, spirit, if someone didn't have, a vision in front of them, something paranormal that happened?
Yeah.
They have to. There's no way that they don't.
Well, it's just such
or
an
didn't.
old building. I mean, there has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
what was it, 1920 something they talked about when it was it built in 1920 or was it
I thought it was before that.
refurbished?
Yeah, I think it was the renovation was in the 20s.
The renovation was in the 20s.
I believe. Yes. Listen to the podcast and then tell us how wrong we are, because these are things that we didn't write down in our notes. But yeah, there have got to be ghosts in that place.
Has to be.
I wish that a podcast that was happening at Rhinegeist would have, some type of spectral visitor just show up and, I don't know, do
What?
something weird that you would know is happening. I don't know. I think it'd be fun for a haunted podcast.
Weird. People in sphincters.
What?
Talking about sphincters. I
It's
don't get it.
spectral.
Oh.
Spectral figures.
Sphincters.
Totally different thing. Totally different thing. Oh my goodness.
blue pills and sphincters.
Oh my God. It's fruit.
But you brought it up.
You brought it up. You started it. I'm trying. I don't want to say I'm trying to finish it because that's not it at all.
You did that once
I
before.
did.
You made that
I
mistake
did.
with somebody else.
I did. With Gnome.
Yeah.
It's always.
Where the hell he at?
I don't know. He's probably still drinking super fresh.
He's looking for a
Tropic
fucking
Flare.
producer today. Producer Nick's
Well-
here, but he's busy.
He is busy. I tried to help out, but he was like, "Nah, Vincent's got it." So, all right, cool.
Fucking hop behind the bar. Hey, Rachel, that's not a joke.
No,
He actually,
no. We
I don't
look
know, he
over.
just made himself at home. He hopped behind the bar.
We
and
look
he's
over
making
and
it
Vince is
for
just standing behind the bar.
Coca-Cola.
We're like,
what are we-
where's Nick? And Nick was like, right there. We're like, okay.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All right.
I don't know why. I guess he thinks every time. No, my dad works here. Like, yeah, I do, but
But that doesn't
mean you
no.
come behind the bar, homie.
No, good God. They talked about, another beer that they talked about is Cincy Light, the new light lager that Rhinegeist is putting out. I don't want to call it a collaboration with the University of Cincinnati, but it's like a partnership with them.
It's a partnership with the NIL Collective for
use.
UC.
Okay, which if you're not familiar with what the NIL is and the collective, it helps to actually pay college athletes for the
Name
use of their
and
likeness.
image and
Right,
likeness.
things.
Yeah.
And one thing that I wasn't aware of until this came out is they can also help if there's an athlete that wants to do some sort of charitable work. That NIL, that fund, can help get them money to be able to do those things, to help give back to their communities, which is absolutely awesome. A couple other notes on this that I had. They talked about why they added sports betting. It was 100% to make sure that people could bet against Messi and Inter Miami FC when they play FC Cincinnati
Right.
in the Lamar Cup. I think this episode's
Also Pittsburgh.
haven't ever
Because,
yellow teams and purple teams, fuck them, bet against
Fuck
them.
'em.
It's the only reason that Rhinegeist put sports betting in their tap room.
It's actually a quote from Julia.
Yeah,
Fuck them teams.
fuck them teams. They talked about a brand new beer that they tried that they all really loved called Truth.
Truth.
Yeah. Sounded like it was pretty popular in
Mm-hmm.
the test batches. They've been testing this beer for almost the entire decade they've been around. Seems like it's going to be a hit. I'm looking forward to seeing it on shelves soon. Okay, pronunciation time, because you know we are
Once.
big on that.
Once we get to 11, it's once.
Oh,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
okay.
And so you got
So we- yeah.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15
So we got a ways to go.
for those years.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Vincent. You want to come sit? I don't know what he's looking for.
wants to get
There's
back
nothing
behind
but
the bar.
alcohol over here. I don't know what he's looking for.
He's 21. Maybe he wants some alcohol.
Hello, Vincent. All right.
Okay, so
Time's up. What the hell?
So Chris said something when they were talking about automation.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce an automated mechanical thing? Is it robot? Is it robit? Or is it ribbit? Because the pronunciation that was happening in this episode around that specific word
Yeah.
was making me go,
It's one of those things where you think you know how it's pronounced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody who you feel has more education than you
Right.
pronounces it a different way.
and you go, is my life a lie?
A whole thing.
Yes,
The whole thing.
yes,
You start to
absolutely.
question the whole thing.
Right. Good. I'm glad that you and I both feel the same way about that. So, how would you say ROBOT?
Here's what I would do.
Yes.
Being the social chameleon that I am, I would wait for someone to say it first,
And then just repeat.
and then I would just repeat the way they say it.
Okay.
And then
So
when
could
I'm
it
not around them, I'd say it the way I always say it.
Okay, so it changes depending on who you're in conversation with.
Unless I'm around people that know that person and respect that person, and then I'll say it the way that that person, said it, even though I wouldn't say it that way, so that
Gotcha.
they know that I say it the way they say it.
So it's situational pronunciation.
Yeah, and look, don't
Okay,
come at me
okay.
like I'm fake. I'm doing this on purpose. Okay?
It's true. It's true.
Not fake when it's calculated.
Oh my gosh. Then the last note, second to last note I had, the last note was they talked about Rhinegeist expanding their portfolio into non-beer things such as RG Bevs, Geist Tea, that type of thing. How they made the decision. Again, a lot of really cool pieces of this conversation. This was probably one of my favorite Rhinegeist conversations in podcasts that I've heard in quite a while. But the last note that I had is they finally talked about another location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And I want to give a congratulations to Blake, the Brewery Explorer podcast, and everyone involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
You coming out the gate with a new podcast is a great idea.
Yeah.
And then again, coming out of the gate with an interview with the head brewer at Matry, an interview with Rhinegeist, an interview with Crooked Handle. I mean, if we were starting a podcast, or when we were starting a
Sure,
podcast, somebody told us we were going to talk to the head brewer at Matry, and we were going to talk to, one of the directors at Rhinegeist. I was like, shit. No,
Right, I'd be like, no.
No.
I'd be too
How?
intimidated. Like for
How?
the first few episodes, yeah.
Like how's that going to happen?
Right, exactly.
And then, but they did it. So congratulations to them.
Hell
and
yeah.
if they keep, snagging great guests and having great episodes, then the future is bright for
absolutely.
Blake, the Brewery Explorer, and hopefully one day
Yeah.
you can be celebrating your 100th podcast episode, just like Julia and I are going to do next week.
They're well on their way.
Yeah, they're on number
on their way.
3 or 4,
This is 6.
something like
This
that.
was 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're almost to double digits. That's a big deal.
Well, that's great. 94-ish more, and then, We'll celebrate their 100th.
Absolutely, we
Congratulations to them.
will. All right. Was there anything else you had on episode 6 of Blake the Brewery Explorer?
No.
I
Vincent,
can't even say words.
did you have anything else on episode 6 of Blake the Brewery Explorer? What? Yes, you can. What? What did you want to say? What do you want to say?
Didn't I get to be the brew and the brewery and the broadcasting? Hey.
Yeah, he
Hell
got to be
yeah.
on the brewery broadcasting.
Yeah.
So he calls the podcast a broadcast.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so he's excited.
Truth, beer, and
he has headphones on already
consequences.
because
Yeah.
they're connected to his phone, but he did not hear what just went over the mics,
It's
other
fine.
than in his own head, like from the volume. But
That's awesome.
way to go, Vincent! Excellent,
Hell
you were
yeah.
on the podcast.
Love it.
Congratulations!
Love it.
You're a podcaster now. Yeah,
He's stunned.
We'll get you
stunned
a
into
shirt.
silence. Yes.
yeah, we'll get you a shirt.
I'm on the podcast now. That's what
Yeah.
we need. We need shirts that say I'm on the podcast
That's great.
now. That's awesome. Don't steal our ideas. We're going to make this
Yeah.
happen. All right. Did you need a break or anything before we get into a Barstool perspective, or are you good to just let's run through this?
Let's just run through it. With Vincent hanging out right here, I think we can just let it rip.
Okay, sounds good. This was episode for June 19th, 2023, and it actually had a title.
It was Juneteenth Day.
It was Juneteenth Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your company do anything special for it?
Yeah, we made sure that we were open to handle all the
Nice.
people that wanted to have a break and have a beer for
Excellent.
Juneteenth.
Excellent. This one actually has a title to it. The End of Bud Light? Dun, dun, dun. I mean, they didn't have that in the title, but they should have. Mike Tells All, which Mike did say a lot of things, as he do.
And he also
this.
always gives just a banger subliminal fashion tips.
Oh my God, the first note I have is Mike's fashion choices are phenomenal.
Well, he's got to make up for the fact that he's bald and short.
True.
So he comes as
I
a
think-
sharp-dressed man.
I think he's doing an excellent job.
Well, there you go.
I have no issues with his fashion choices, except for the one week where he wore a T-shirt. Then I'm like, whoa, who is this man? I don't know. He wasn't as sharply dressed.
Just eyeing him up from the.
No, if he had
from
like
the
that
YouTube-
fedora on and the T-shirt, okay, I could get behind that.
Yeah.
But just a T-shirt, I don't know, Mike. You gotta do better for me.
Wear pants.
Luckily, they stay seated the entire time, so
So you don't know if they wear
there's no
pants.
telling. There's no telling.
May not have pants on.
No.
If on any given day I was like, damn it, I need another shirt, I could be like, hey, Mike, can I borrow one of them shirts, bro? And then we'd be like right on, like the fit would be right. You know?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Except I have more hair.
True.
I bet
and
I'm
your hair
taller.
is always amazing.
Thank you. I bet I'm taller.
I think
At
you
least
are, too.
an inch or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inch or two's all that matters.
That's what I, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
So some of the news stories that they talked about this week: Anchor Brewing is now anti-craft.
He's fine. He's fine.
Oh, he's always fine. All right, so Anchor Brewing, they are now anti-craft. They are stopping all distribution. They are killing off Christmas ale. They're doing
Well, they're
branding
stopping
changes.
distribution outside of California.
Well, yes, excellent point. Thanks for the clarification there. Because, right, they are still distributing in California. They're just stopping national distribution. Basically, it's all dumb. They have turned into the thing that they were air quotes, lots of air quotes, fighting against, even though I don't know if they ever were really
I don't
fighting
know.
it too hard.
The Fritz seems too much of a capitalist to say he was fighting against anything.
True.
I think he came into the brewing industry because it was new and he kind of dug it and he wanted to do the best he could at the business that he invested in.
Right.
I don't know how invested he was in the promoting the message of craft itself, but he's a capitalist, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the parent company, is it Kieran?
Yes, and there were some very strong opinions on Kieran as well that we will not repeat.
No, that's fine.
But, it's fine.
That's fine. But what they were doing is anybody who's managing a business from abroad and trying to make sure that they made smart business decisions. I can't blame them for what they did, because you can't use a country's nostalgia that you don't even live in to dictate, what your sales are going to do.
Right.
But Kieran decided to, just totally lop off all distribution for Anchor Steam.
Yep.
Or Anchor Brewing,
yeah.
which made Anchor Steam.
Yes. I'm hoping I can still find a bottle of it somewhere before it kind of is all off the shelves, just at least to say that I've had it.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't had it ever?
No, never. Yeah, it's, again, more for the drinking a part of craft beer history, more so than any level of expectation as to, the quality or what I'm going to experience compared to the craft stuff that we have here today, Anything else on Anchor that you had?
No,
I don't want to step over anything else that you wanted to say.
No, there seems to be the loudest 1% on social media that is bummed that they're not going to get Anchor, and they're not going to get Anchor's Christmas offering.
Right.
What I would say is that it's the easiest pocket answer, which is you didn't buy enough of it anyway.
Yeah, to make them say this is still making us enough money to do it.
So look, let's let's just take it for what it is. We understand that they made a business decision, and hey, if the public wants it that bad and the demand is that big, they'll distribute again.
Sure.
And so,
I mean, if I never get a chance to try it, okay, I don't feel that I'm missing anything. I don't feel like my life is going to be incomplete because of this. I just think it would be neat, and I just haven't put the time or effort into just going to a couple different places to see if they have a bottle of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
There's a lot of great beer around the city locally, and if you can't have Anchor, I get it. You can shed a tear, but there's plenty of good beer out there. Go find some.
Yeah. Brett has a new definition of what makes beer craft beer. It's a combination of it being too much work and not profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's it. Entirely accurate.
Sounds like right. Yeah.
In this episode, you can find out who Mike's piece of shit of the week is.
Love that.
That's fantastic. That absolutely needs to be a repeating segment.
It's a great segment.
It really is.
Sounds like a segment that we thought of, and then we clipped.
Who's to say we didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, we're sending them emails. They don't have to acknowledge them, but we know when they take some of our ideas.
That's right.
They covered a story about how is beer now good for you? Like every other week, it's, all beer's bad for you, and no, now beer's good for you. Same with wine, same with, anything else under the sun. This week it's bad for you. Next week it's going to be good for you. So they kind of covered that again.
Too much sun is bad for you. You should only use a pea-size amount of toothpaste, and if you use more, then that's bad for you.
Right.
It's like you can say everything in moderation or whatever you want to say, but here's the deal: just you get one go at this, and as long as you're not murdering or killing people,
as long as you're not affecting someone else's life and happiness.
Just do it.
Who cares? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
They talked about Bud Light, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going on, what, a month or two? A month. A little over.
2.
Is it 2?
Let's call it 2.
Let's call it 2, yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, it doesn't impact me in any way, shape, or form, so I really haven't been keeping track of exactly how long this whole thing has been going on. There's some caveats to everyone saying that Bud Light has been dethroned, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. But when people are throwing around, they're no longer the king of the macro beers, that type of thing. Yes and no. And I think that Brett and Mike do a great job of explaining what those caveats are.
They do.
So I don't want.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I want you to listen
Excellent.
to watch.
I don't
this
know
on
if
YouTube,
I don't know if they called out the source, but the source of those facts is. The source of those facts is Bart Watson, chief economist for the Brewers Association.
Mm-hmm. Very, very smart dude.
Yeah. And disc
Like,
golf
ridiculous.
Hall of Famer.
Hell yeah. Didn't know that. No, you did tell me that a couple weeks ago, and I just forgot. So,
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
There you go.
Brett and Mike have another new, not quite legal idea that they're trying to pursue, so keep an eye on their
idea.
website for any updates on that. Even though I don't know how often their website's actually updated, it still
No,
doesn't
I haven't looked at it.
It doesn't mention their current
No.
podcast series. It just has like the older episodes on it. It's fine. It's cool.
Votto still bangs.
Didn't he always?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that. Gossip of the week. Don't buy Dewclaw brewing equipment. And again, that is gossip.
Yeah, that is gossip.
That is gossip. That is not informed fact, but just something that
I have a
if you're-
shirt that was actually had a whole platform started by just essentially gossip.
Yeah,
Where there's smoke, there's fire. So
I do not disagree. The non-alcoholic story of the week. Apparently, according to TikTok, Ozempic is in energy drinks, which when they said that, I mean, I'm not on TikTok, so I have no
not
idea
on
what they were talking
Ozempic,
about.
So
It is supposed to be a drug that helps diabetics control like their A1C levels.
who makes that?
I have no clue. But apparently one of the side effects is it can decrease the feelings of hunger and cravings. And from what I've heard,
What
it
about
actually makes you,
twerking? Does it decrease your urge to twerk?
I think it increases it. So, I mean, there are always negative.
Yes.
There are always negative side effects to these things. But apparently, like a lot of people,
I
that,
would love to
if
hear
they can, if they
a
can
disclaimer
afford it. Yeah,
that says
may cause
may cause-
uncontrollable twerking. Oh my god. Oh my! I mean, dude, these drug
Increased
companies,
gambling,
like
uncontrollable twerking.
You could put anything on those warnings and on the may cause this and this and this and this. They have to cover all their bases.
Bring me one next week,
Twerking?
Julia. One of those disclaimers, and let's hide
Oh my God.
uncontrollable twerking
In
there.
it.
Yeah, and I'll read it.
Yeah, we'll see what I can do. I can't do anything with that, but we will. No, just in case. There is absolutely no way that I could get my hands on anything like that. But they did bring up a good point, because this is an incredibly expensive drug, because A, it's all brand name. There is no generic, yet. That's still going to be a decade or two until, the patent runs out, or, however all that works. But no one is, and they kind of say this like, oh, they're going to, spike the marijuanas with the heroines and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no one is putting these expensive drugs in this cheap stuff. No one is doing that. It's kind of like, oh, going trick-or-treating, you're going to get drugs in your Halloween candy. No one is going to give away their drugs. Sorry, but no.
Razor blades, maybe.
Maybe some razor blades, but not drugs.
Not drugs.
Absolutely not drugs.
And now that people have stopped giving away apples, I don't know how many razor blades they're giving in the
Right.
Halloween candy.
That's how I got all like my shaving stuff for like at least a couple months.
Swear to God. I mean, we were so scared of everything as children. And then scared of nothing.
Well,
we were
I was gonna say-
throwing
yeah, I was gonna
giant
say.
fucking nails at each other, sliding down hot-ass slides
Yeah.
that,
We would just disappear for the entire day. Parents had no idea where
It was
we
like
were. No one
steel-
knew where we were. There was no way to get a
steel
hold of us.
merry-go-round thingies.
Oh, you just went as fast as you could, and people are flying off left and right,
Yeah.
complete, utter chaos. As long as you're home for dinner, no one cares.
No one gave a shit.
And even if you're not home for dinner, it's, well, you better be home by the time, the street lights come on. If you miss dinner, that's on you. But yeah, no one knew where. Yeah.
So much bad.
I mean, if nothing else, this could be a very shady and backhanded way for the specific energy drink that this, rumor or, whatever was around to say, oh, this is in our beverage. So if you get our beverage, you're going to lose weight, whatever. But it's stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know why it even needs to be explained that how completely improbable that is. You can hear another note. You can hear Mike's book club of the month pick from Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's all that I had. It was another great episode, just watching the two of them kind of go back and forth, watching the interactions. Always phenomenal. Always so much fun to watch.
It's a great episode. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't talk more positively about it enough. People need to be watching what they're doing.
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Check out their website, brewskis.beer. And I'm
There you
saying
go.
that because they have not yet corrected us on the correct
Yeah, they failed to mention that we sent them
multiple.
Yeah.
Not
They're-
even an
they're
acknowledgement.
ignoring us.
Nothing. They probably are.
Just
Can
'cause
you blame them, though?
They don't
I
want to
mean-
acknowledge our existence.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We know they listen. We know that they are
Yeah.
our biggest fans. And that's okay. They don't need to
They are our
yell it from
biggest
the
fans.
rooftops. But I would like to know about the whole Brew Skies, Brew Skis thing. So when you guys listen to this, maybe just let that email asking that question slide on through to
Just slide
the front
through,
of the
yeah.
list. Just you still good before we get into our WCPO news article? It's not going to take very long to get through.
All right, let's
but
go.
it was interesting.
Well, no,
No, you don't want to take a break? You do want to take a break?
I do.
You do want to take a break?
Yeah.
All right.
Because Vincent's hanging out right here like he won something.
Okay.
So I
That's
wanna-
fair. All right.
See what his deal is.
All right. We'll be right back, guys. All right, we are back and ready to cover our last non-podcast, but something that was interesting enough about the Cincinnati craft beer scene that we both wanted to talk a little bit about it. This isn't going to take too long, but Marco, what are you finishing with tonight?
I have a delicious double from Stone.
Nice, from Stone?
Yeah.
Josh loves that one. I mean, it's a double, so
Yeah.
of course he's going to absolutely love it.
Okay.
All right, so this is an article on WCPO.com. I have a couple issues with the article. First and foremost, we'll get to that when we get to that. The news article is in their iTeam section, and it's called "Does Cincy Have Too Many Breweries?" And it is. There's a video that they did for this story, and there's also a print article. So if
Yep.
you find the print article, the video is embedded to it. They talked to a ton of people from Fig Leaf, the whole March 1st brand. They talked to Urban Artifact, the mayor of Milford, the one and only Gnarly Gnome. They talked to a lot of people from Braxton, people from Mad Tree.
Yep.
My first, and I say issue, this really isn't an issue, but it's under the iTeam. What was investigative about this? The article really didn't, to me, it didn't feel like it answered or really super heavily addressed the "does Cincy have too many breweries" question. It felt like it was more about how are the local breweries doing? What are they finding are the ways that they are staying relevant in the market as far as talking about, opening up or going to tap rooms versus package sales versus distribution. Right. Do you open more tap rooms? Do you put more beers out into distribution? And not so much about are there too many breweries, but that could just be the way that I read the article. My biggest complaint, however, and to the author, Dan Monk, this is directed at you.
Uh-oh.
Do better. Gnarly is not spelled with an E.
Wow.
They even linked to the gnarlygnome.com. The website spelled correctly. The link works. But every instance where they mentioned the Gnarly Gnome, there was an E in there, and I went, that's not correct. You're supposed to be a professional journalism entity.
Are you supposed to be your own editor as well?
I guess so.
Maybe?
I guess
Possibly?
so. Maybe he thought no one would find and read the article. I don't know. But it was good. I mean, it was really in-depth. It did cover a lot. Well, saying in-depth is a bit of a stretch. It covered a lot of touch points. Didn't go too in-depth on any of them. But it was a lot of interesting facts and points of view from a lot of different people. So I really enjoyed listening to it. Well, watching it and reading it. I guess listening by default. What did you think about the article? And would you recommend that people interested in Cincinnati craft beer search it out and read it or watch it?
Sure. It's
Short, sweet, to the point?
sure. No, I mean, I
There was a lot in there. It just wasn't...
because I'm employed by a group that is heavily
Tied into the article, yeah.
Tied into the article.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a back seat here.
That's
I'm going to
fair.
say
That's fair.
that I appreciate the time and the interest into the people and the information that was given. I am going to just say that it for the people that I know and work with, it's really cool. Number one, for our brewer to get recognized for his accomplishments. It's cool to have our social media and marketing director speaking to the news. It's cool to see the Gnarly Gnome, our friend who's
missing in action tonight here.
Missing in action. I don't know where the hell he is. To be...
He should know we're talking about him. That should make him just, appear.
To be talked to and interviewed about what's going on in the Cincy craft beer scene. It's cool to see the space that my company is going to, or the company I'm with, going to open up here soon. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really cool. Take away from the piece what you want to take away from. I am not going to steer you in one way or the other.
That's fair.
As far as what the content is. And I'm also not going to comment on the title of the article or the video. That's for you, the listener or the viewer, to decide on. So, but
it's a neat piece of content that's out there.
Yeah.
And it's, again, it was something that when I read it and watched the video attached to it, I texted Marco and just said, hey, what do you say we talk about this just for a few minutes? Because it's
out there.
There are interesting tidbits to pull from the article. Again, it doesn't go as in-depth into do we have too many breweries? Is there a craft beer bubble, as I was hoping, going solely off the title? But there were a lot of really neat talking points from all the different people, and again, tons of people that they talked to for this piece of journalism. So hunt it down, WCPO.com, check it out, and I'll put a link to it in our show notes.
Sounds good.
Yeah. That's all the podcasts and pieces of media that we have to talk about today. Was there anything else that you wanted to tell the listeners before we wrap things up?
No, we probably could have been wrapped up like 30, 40 minutes earlier had I not had to. While we were, it's not had I not had to. It's, but no, it's fun having Vincent here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What's really cool is the more comfortable he becomes with the place. I mean, and he kind of gets up and walks around and does his own thing, and that's really cool. It's not sitting him, plopping him in a spot, and he's
right.
Just
it's like you just stay here in this corner. It's like
right.
No, he's just hanging out, having a good time, like we are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like he's in an adult pack and play.
Those aren't allowed in breweries, by the way.
No.
So,
No. And then I just first time met my neighbor across the street. It's kind of funny.
Definitely got to move now.
Yeah,
it's ruined. It's ruined. Neighborhood's gone to shit.
Seems like
people
a nice guy.
People are introducing themselves.
No, it seems like a great guy.
He did seem like a nice
But yeah,
guy.
people are introducing themselves to us, and that's all fun and fantastic. I'm gonna have a beer with that guy.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be a good time. Shit, maybe we'll throw something on the grill. Who knows?
Ooh, there you go.
But it's a good time, and it's weird that we had in the 0.5. Leading up to so many weeks, we had so much 0.5 stuff going on. And then for this week and weekend, to have so much fewer. Mm-hmm. And then, a lot picking up as we get into July 4th weekend and that sort of stuff. And now we're getting all the way to, September?
September, yeah.
So it's, man, this year is...
it's flying.
It's flying. It's flying. So anyways... yeah, it's fun, Julia, and I enjoy it, and I hope that everyone, enjoys what we're doing. And if you don't, let us know. Listen to a few more pods, and hopefully you get it. Other than that, please support your local breweries. There's been a lot of news, yes, about breweries retracting, about breweries expanding, about breweries, just in general, closing, selling equipment. There was a Craft Parenting Pod was talking about a whole. A whole state's different varieties of beer that they happen to acquire, and one of those breweries is closed now.
Right.
And so I just want to say again, just like I said in the 0.5 or earlier, look, you like a place, support a place. Mm-hmm. Or I said it earlier on this pod.
Yeah.
Like a place, support a place, and talk to your friends, tell your people about it, inquire about events if you want to go to public-facing events, and see if they have private event space and hold your private events there. Look, these are small, locally owned businesses, and every dollar you spend there is going to help people that live in the community and support this community. So let's do what we can. Part of this podcast is supporting a community, and we are here to talk about and scream from the rooftops about the craft beer podcasting community. But it's really, when it ties back to it, it's about that brewing community.
Agreed. Yeah,
So-
agreed.
Anyway, I am going to pause and just we'll collect ourselves, and I think we have something else we're going to do.
We do.
But we'll let you, the listeners, find out, what that is. Anyways, what are you doing next week, Julia?
Before I tell you what I'm doing next week, I want to let the listeners
That's
know
true.
that
Let them all know how to get in touch with us.
if you like what we've done tonight or any other weeks, please let us know. We are at Truth Beer Pod on all the social media platforms. Send us an email with any questions, concerns, anything at all that you have, truthbeerpod@gmail.com. Any complaints, you can send those to @RagingHop on Twitter, unless he changes his Twitter handle, which we will riot if you do that, sir. So you have been
I saw
warned.
something about that and quit that shit.
yeah,
The other
yeah.
thing is I saw the gnome was at Braxton earlier. I bet he's getting nail pull tastes of what's going to be Dark Charge this
Oh,
year.
that bastard, and he didn't invite
Yeah,
us.
that bastard.
Well,
Anyways, keep going.
if you would like to do more than just like, follow, subscribe, share, review, rate, tell your friends. That's the biggest thing. Just spread the word about our podcast to anyone you talk about that's interested in craft beer and craft beer podcasts. If you wanted to do more than that, if you wanted to monetarily support the podcast, because we buy our own beers, we have web hosting and podcast hosting bills that are coming up. If you want to help us with any of those, you can do that by going to truthbeerpod.com. Across the top of the page are all the links to our social media pages, as well as links for one-time donations, or become a Patreon subscriber. Monthly donation, you get some extra content, some fun stuff, which is what we're going to be doing after we wrap this session up. But other than that, thank you. We would not be here without you and all the other craft beer podcasters. So with that being said, Marco, you can now ask the question.
Julia, what are you doing next week? And I think there might be a little bit of change to that.
There might be a little change. I'm going to be sitting somewhere with you for our 100th episode.
Hell yeah.
Talking about something.
Cheers, Julia.
Cheers.